Yo, what's good guys? This is Chris from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at one of my favorite releases of the year, and it is these bad boys right here. This is the Puma Ralph Sampson OG. They call them mids, but I think they're tripping, man. These things are hella high, but these are fire. Now these guys are tied to Ralph Sampson. It is his official signature sneaker, at least it was. He's a retired NBA player. I don't know a lot about him. I'm not gonna front like I do. If you were interested in knowing a little bit more about the guy, go ahead and Google him. All I know is that this shoe right here is so pretty that I was like, man, I needed to get a pair. I tried to get a pair and they sold out everywhere. It was so crazy. And then for whatever reason, I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, I know why I was up. I work on the website until about 3 o'clock in the morning and I get things scheduled for the next day. That way in the morning I can wake up and then we start working on video content. A little behind the scenes, I guess. I decided to Google this shoe for some strange reason. I don't know why. I was just thinking about it at that point in time. So I Googled it and then it shows you like the shopping results and stuff like that. And it showed me that these were available at Saks Fifth Avenue, a store that I've never shopped at a day in my life. That is too rich for my blood. But they had one pair left and it happened to be on my size, so I grabbed them, and retail is $100 for anybody curious. I was surprised when they came in just how nice the material was, man. Like these for $100, I'm telling you, man, we don't get this stuff from everybody, man. Like this is just, it's crazy. Puma's been killing it since last year, and they continue to with these guys right here. Now I have worn these around already because I just couldn't wait. I did get some B-roll as they were dead stock, so you guys can get that pretty look of them. And the first thing I will say about these things is they fit hella big, man. So at the minimum, go down half a size if you happen to find these on like the aftermarket and stuff. Like if you're paying resale for these things, make sure you go down half a size. Otherwise, they're gonna be super, super big on you, which is unfortunate. I'm glad I didn't grab the low tops because that would have been like a flopping shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're low and all that stuff. At least with their high, I can lace them up a little bit. What I did do to offset that is I stacked a new insole on top of the existing one, and it raised my foot up just enough to where it filled up all of the extra space, so now they fit perfectly. But I would have preferred to have just gone down half a size and not have to stack insoles and all that stuff. Now, as I was saying earlier, the leather on these guys is just super nice. You could see it throughout all of the cuts. It's actual leather, and the PU coat, that white coating on top of it, is so soft that it just lets everything flex and move with your foot. It's awesome. The tongue is actual leather. All of the lining right here is all leather as well. It's super crazy. Like these are one of the most premium shoes at its price point that I've personally purchased in quite some time. You got some suede right there at the heel as well as on the Puma logo. Then you can see the little gold hits. You got the Ralph Sampson as well as the Puma branding right here. You got metal little grommets right there at the eye stay area. The sweet little Puma logo right there on the heel. I love all the overlays. I love the toe little panel right there. I think that it looks fantastic. I love the little flex groove right there as well. As far as tech specs are concerned, there really isn't any. It's simply a rubber cup sole. The traction though looks awesome. Like this looks like it would just grip anything. I think that this is really cool. I wish that we would get stuff like this today, but we don't, but it's okay, I guess. It's not, but we should. And the insole says shock wedge. I don't know what that means. It probably just means that it's a little higher in the back than it is in the front, but it is that same type of material that we've been seeing in all the other Puma like lifestyle shoes and all that stuff. I've got this from the Liquid Cell, and this is a lot thicker than this guy right here. So what I did is I just put it on there and stuck these inside the shoe, and like I said, it lifted me up enough to fill up all of that extra dead space because these guys run super big. And that pretty much takes care of it for these guys. I think that these are fantastic. It's one of my favorite lifestyle models or lifestyle pickups for the year, which is funny because last year it was the same thing. Like I thought that the Puma RSX was the I still love that shoe, but these guys, these might be my top pickup or whatever of the year. That's not like a Jordan Brand release, because those always kind of like, I kind of like favor those things sometimes, not sometimes, like all the time. I can't help it, man. They just hit me in the feels. But I feel like Marty McFly when I wear these things. Man, they're so high. It's so crazy. Like I wish I had a hoverboard. I know it's not the Air Mag and all that stuff, but it's got that same kind of feel to it. It's real chunky but sleek all at the same time. Funny story, I actually don't like the way that the low tops of these look, and I personally prefer lows 9 times out of 10, but this just happens to be one of those times that I think that the highs look better. They don't look great with my chunky ass legs, but you know, you make it work. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one. So what do you think about these? I think these are fire. These are super fly.
Let's do our favorite game. What do these shoes remind me of?
Oh no, come on, man. No, for real, because I hate that. Not just when you do it, I just hate it when everybody does it. You know, when you see a picture on Instagram of a new shoe, and then the comments is all like, you know, this looks like, man, shut the, come on. Let shoes be what they are.
I will say, I think this is an improved version of what I think it looks like.
Okay, fine, whatever. What is it?
Those Reebok shoes.
What Reebok shoes?
The ones
the workouts?
with the, yes.
Those are fresh, man. My mom used to have those. That's my earliest sneaker memory.
I don't like those.
I wouldn't wear them personally, but they remind me of being like a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? So like my earliest sneaker memory is like, I used to go, because I grew up with a single parent, right? When I would be like sick or whatever, like we didn't have daycare or anything like that. And so I was unable to go to school, or there was a holiday. You know how there'd be,
yeah.
Like we're lucky where we can work from home. So our kids are with us and stuff like that, which is great. But when we grew up, that's not how things were. And so I would have to go to work with my mom, but the office that she worked at didn't want kids running around.
No.
And so she didn't work at an office, she worked at, it was literally a warehouse. Back then there were things called print shops where things would be printed on paper. And it sounds weird because everything's digital now. Like you could just do it at home yourself. Like that's actually my first job too. I worked there under the table when I was 13 in the back room, the binding room. So we would put together everything that they'd print. But this place was amazing though. It had all kinds of crazy large machines. They would make their own, or they would hire like what your dad and grandpa do, which is they make like gears. They would cut gears out of like giant metal machines. So that place reminds me of the print shop. But they would hire somebody to cut the dies that, or the stamps basically, that had all the words or whatever it was and the letters and stuff like that. And I remember one time I'd pull open the owner's drawer because he was like a family friend also, so he didn't mind that I was there. His daughter was my age, but I would open up these drawers and he had all the old ones, and I was like, man, these are crazy. What is it? And he would like tell me about them. But my mom would be at the light table. So it's a giant glass table or glass topped table with massively bright lights inside of them, and she would put the negatives and the film on that, and then she would cut them out by hand and then place them on, and that's how you would make a brochure. Now everything's done on Photoshop, right? So you work on like a blank layer and you can start layering and all that stuff, or just create it yourself. But back then you had to literally do it by hand manually, and I would be underneath that table with my comic books, my action figures, and my blue blanket, and she would wear the Reebok workouts.
Oh, so you're just seeing her feet.
That's all. That's all I see. It was like a movie, like Toy Story. You know what I mean? Like where you just see the mom walking around, but you never really see her. And so it was like that. And that's my earliest sneaker memory is of that shoe. And I would just never. Every time I see that shoe, it always makes me feel like a little tiny kid, and it's just a weird thing.
Your whole story just reminded me of when we would take Kara for her field trips, and there's a place called History San Jose, and it's like you get thrown back in time, and they have a printing press where you get to do the machines and everything.
That's cool. That place was it's no longer in business, obviously, because that's just not how things are done anymore. But yeah, it was just some of my early memories and stuff like that, because I really don't remember a lot of stuff, or I remember like some like a little pocket of things. And then when I was about 7, which is when like my stepdad came into the picture, that's when I like really remember things. But even then I'm like, don't do drugs, kids.
Well, it's not just that. It's one of those things as a parent that you worry about with your kids, especially when you have the hard days and you're like, please don't let this be the memory that you take forever with you. Like, remember all the good stuff that I've done with you as well.
That's what my brain does naturally. It kind of like blocks out things that might bother it, and it just focuses on like, you know what I mean? So like when we'd be with like family members and they would remind me of certain things that weren't great in my upbringing, I'd be like, man, that's crazy. I don't remember none of that shit. You know what I mean? And so like, and it's like, good thing. It's not till I was like a teen when I really remember like some like bad stuff. It's interesting, but yeah, the Reebok workout, I will take that one.
You can see it, right? Just this top.
Well, it's just the overall silhouette, you know what I mean? Because this is very much a product of its time. This is that 80s style, like to a T, which is what I love about them. On top of that, I like that they not only brought them back, but they did it right. Like they didn't cut any corners, like they got real materials on there. They look like the actual shoe. Like if you Google the guy, Ralph Sampson, and he's wearing these, and I'm just like, man, they remade the shoe.
I'm curious, like the inside is leather too?
On the originals?
Yeah.
I would assume so. I don't know why you would change that.
That would just seem rough.
Well, back then they wore tube socks.
Yeah.
So they would never feel it. I would feel it, so I had to wear like higher cuts with these. And again, it makes my legs look super stumpy. These might be a non-summer shoe, even though I would love to wear them, but this might be like that winter, like I'm forced to wear some type of pants, and so I wear sweatpants, like jogger ones, and so I might wear these with those because I think that they look fresh with that, like that tapered